Welcome back to the podcast. Again, my name is Hope, and this is the Irene podcast. Today we have Caramie Baker with us, and I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell you a little bit about her.
Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here. Yeah, I'm an author, a financial analysis planner, but I really love what you guys are doing with relationships here. The relationships have been such a big part of my life and what I wrote my story about. It's been a journey of my own relationships, but helping people even further with their relationships with money and ultimately seeing how we relate in life. And with Irene, this is an incredible gift that you're giving the world to really deepen relationships. So I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Those were kind words. I wanted to have you share a little bit about who you are.
Who am I?
Like how you got into the space that you're in with the financial and the relationship advice.
Yeah, years ago, I used to coach people in relationships and help them to develop healthy communication. I've been with my husband for over 20 years, and through the life of hard knocks, we had to learn how to develop that kind of communication. And one of the things that I was noticing the most while helping couples was their relationship with themselves with money. And it was such a huge block to be able to take it to the next level and be creators of their life. So I started diving into the world of money and helping people to unravel their stories around it and be able to build up a solid foundation in their homes.
Yeah. And like we all know that money is one of the big things that kind of leads to divorce in a lot of relationships too. And it can be such a stress in a relationship if you have money problems or if you're not on the same page. So it totally makes sense that those two go hand in hand for you and how healing one can help heal the other.
Yes. Right? And when I wrote my book, a lot of the stories behind it were finding the gold that is within each of our stories and finding the ways to communicate. To this day, hands down, one of the most powerful communication pieces that I've learned is how to speak the unarguable truth and how to really hone in who are you at your core and what is the gift that this experience is bringing you so that you can go out into the world and find a way to build those healthy relationships.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that you look at it in a way that the challenges that come up aren't there to break us down. They're actually there to like increase us, make us a better person, to make us like see, or what's the word I'm thinking of? It just helps peel back another layer to see who we really are down to our core. And I love that because that's totally the mentality that I have. For me, when a challenge arises, I like to go, or something triggers me that somebody says, I'm like, whoa, why did that trigger me? I don't go, oh my gosh, that person. I go, why did that trigger me? What is it about me that I'm like seeing or not seeing in that person that's making me feel or react a certain way or have a thought come in? So then I like take a step back and I go, what do I need to learn about myself? Because I'm an extreme ownership kind of person. I want to own everything about myself, my feelings, my reactions, everything. So when something comes up and you look inside, that's when I feel like you can truly make that shift or make that difference.
Absolutely. If it has a place to land on you, it's a place to look at. And there's some gold in there for you.
Absolutely. So Caramie, what does emotional safety mean to you personally?
Emotional safety means that, one, we set the grounding for our own emotions to be able to handle that space, but that we actually feel safe to express what's actually going on inside. So you mentioned just barely that if it has a place, that trigger within you, it has a place to land. In order for you to open up to the honest, raw truth, is it going to be met by somebody else's emotion from a neutral space? Is it going to be accepted? Is it going to be a space where you can open up further into that, have that safety to feel those emotions without the judgment and be able to let that move through? And when you take that extreme ownership, you're not letting that run the whole scenario for you. You're able to actually move through and move into a healthy space.
Yeah. And that's where it helps to have those healthy relationships too, because sometimes I know for me, sometimes I need to bounce my thoughts off of somebody.
Yeah.
I need to say it out loud and sometimes
Hear
to
if
a
it's
few
true.
different people. And I always like to hear their perspective because maybe something they say is that doesn't really resonate, but maybe the next person or the next thought will resonate with me.
Yeah.
Because I just think that community is one of the greatest things, right? Like we all can learn from each other so much. So having your community be a healthy, nurturing community cares about you so that the information you're getting isn't like, oh, you're just this or you're just that. It's more, this has happened to me and this is how I handled it. And
Yeah.
sometimes that just gives you a little, oh, I could pick up one or two of those things that might help me navigate this difficult situation a little bit better.
Yeah. I also think it's important that whoever you're sharing it with can actually hold a neutral space for all parties involved. That it doesn't become this blaming or attacking for
Right.
any of the pieces, but they can look at it like setting things on a table and taking the overview and be like, okay, this happened. What's unarguable that you can look at and take it for what it is and go do something about it to sit
Yeah.
there and create a better situation.
Yeah. And I like in my life, I've always appreciated the friends that will be honest with me.
Yes.
I don't want someone to be nice.
Yes.
I want someone to be honest. And I can handle the hard truth.
Yep.
Because again, if it triggers me, okay, what do I need to learn about this? Why did that trigger me? Why did it make me feel some type of way? Because I don't ever blame my emotions on somebody else. I own my emotions. But that's also been learned over time. Because you can get beat up and you can feel like you're the victim all the time. But if you just take a step back and you go, okay, why is that making me feel like this? Why do a stranger's words even make me feel this kind of way?
Yeah.
So I love that. Was there a moment when you first realized something in a relationship that did not feel healthy?
The big one is when there's not, somebody won't speak up. And so you can sense the energy, something got triggered, like you said, in the body, something happened, and there's an internal going within and just not speaking. Usually that tends to build and build. I've heard it said before, I don't want to make a big mess. I don't think it's probably worth bringing up or worth creating a problem. But what they don't realize is that by not speaking up, that internal feeling will tend to build, and that will turn into resentment. It will turn into something bigger, and down the road it will come out, and it usually doesn't come out as well as it could have in the beginning if you had just stopped and said, hey, I noticed it brought up something in me. I need to sit with this, or I need to speak to this, or share what's actually going on, or maybe I need to go figure out what's going on and then have a conversation with you because that didn't work, or that didn't feel good.
Yeah, and I like that because sometimes you do need to take some time just to like process, even if it's not trying to figure out why you reacted, even if it's just like thinking about what was said, thinking about what was happening, and maybe taking a step back and realizing what maybe actually might have been said.
Yeah.
And it wasn't always directed at you. It was just said, but like you said, it landed in a certain way.
Yeah.
Then now I have to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah. And it's never about the other person. It's always about that internal thing that's going on in you. And sometimes it is just for you, but it doesn't mean that that person didn't trigger that piece.
Yeah.
It could have happened when you were a kid. It could have happened through a past experience. Yeah. And it's important to remember that it's not about now. It's about whatever that's triggering. But it's a beautiful gift that's been given to you to say, hey, what's going on? Is there a part of you that feels unworthy? A part of you that feels unloved? Is there a part of you that misunderstood a piece of that? What is actually asking to be looked at here and not avoiding it?
And sometimes I think it's something that might have happened that we don't even remember.
Yeah.
Like maybe when we were little or in school, somebody said something and it kind of like fell into the box, I call it.
Yep.
And the box, other things that have been said go in that same box because I haven't figured out like what the box is.
Yep.
Or where the box is or why it's getting full. It's just a way that, like you said, when it gets full, now you have to deal with it because there's nowhere else for it to go.
Yeah.
And we've all reached that point in some capacity to be like and explode because it just gets to be too much when you have too much piling on. It just gets to be too much. So you either have to deal with it or you just get to live like that. Yeah. So what are you going to choose, right? Do you want to deal with it? Or do you want to keep feeling like this over and over and over again? Every time a stranger or somebody that's an acquaintance or somebody that you care about and love says something to you.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not trying to minimize abuse because that's not really what we're doing. What we're trying to do is help everyone to see, like, we get to decide how it makes us feel.
Yeah.
And then we get to choose what to do from there.
Yeah. That's powerful.
Yeah, very. And that's that. If I could change the world in a minute, it would be to let every woman know her power and that you get to take your power back from somebody that maybe has tried to strip it from you. And you can use maybe the abuse that's happened to you as experience and knowledge to leap forward and heal.
Yes.
Sorry, I get very emotional.
Beautiful. I love that so much.
I get very emotional because
it matters. It's
it
your
matters.
heart.
I've been in a really terrible place before. I felt like I was this small. I felt like I was worthless. I felt like all the words thrown at me were true. And when I did the work and I healed, and I said this on the last podcast, when I did the work and when I healed and when I forgave The day that I forgave my ex, my abuser, was the day that I felt the hugest weight lifted off of my shoulders. And that's when my true healing began.
That's incredible.
Okay, so you've told us your story about your book and those things that you've done. Tell us a little bit more about maybe some experiences that happened that kind of led you down that path that you've taken to writing the book and to helping with relationships and all of the stuff that you
Yeah,
do.
I think relationships are the foundation of life. And when I looked back over my stories, I was actually just writing my book because I was like, I want to write a book. I had no idea what I was going to write. And I started sitting down for 10 minutes every day and I'm like, I'm just going to write and see what comes through. And before I know it, my stories were starting to come out. All the stories I'd had throughout my life. So I was born into a polygamous culture and my mom passed away when I was 1. And through that, having that safety of a relationship pass, it was something that I had to face when I was very, very little, like what it meant to be left alone, what it meant to not feel that safety in the world. And growing into being abused throughout some of the culture stuff that I experienced in there sexually, but also just through not quite knowing where home was. And as I became a teenager, I had gotten into a relationship with a boy, and that was a big no in that culture,
Big no.
and especially someone outside of it. And had the experience of being with a stepmom at the time who I would have at that point considered more abusive, considered more strong held. And I can look back now because there was a point where I was basically grounded for 7 months. I wasn't allowed to leave the house. I got pulled out of school, had all my belongings taken away, wasn't allowed to see family. I was put on like this, it was a lot of weird games and stuff like that that was being played. And let's read through the scriptures, find every single thing in there about why sex is bad before marriage and like all these things that was like trying to be ingrained. And at that point, my dad had stepped out of the picture. And it was a really interesting dynamic because a lot of people would look at her and be like, she's abusive. She's so strong-headed. She's like, I didn't, as a teen, of course, not loving to be controlled, right? Yeah. And so I walked away from, and I left home when I was 16, and I walked away from that very angry, very hurt, felt rejected, felt abused in a lot of ways, especially verbally, and just felt like a really bad person. And it was something that I had to face within myself. Who am I? Am I this person? And I went on to marry and build my own family. And then after having kids, go through major depression. And it rooted back down to a lot of those stories as a kid where I was just felt small again, felt insignificant, felt like this, like I couldn't speak up. Like it's like my voice would just shut down. I'm sure you've experienced when you've had people come at you over different things, you're like, you can't really speak or share a whole lot. And so then I went through a period where I started finding my voice and I started seeing the gift that she really was for me. Even though it wasn't done in a healthy way, there was this power about her that she wasn't afraid to speak her voice. And I started finding that in myself, and I started letting myself get louder and letting myself be heard. And I had to learn how to let that come out in a healthy way. There was definitely times it wasn't, but it was like freeing. Like I could feel the constriction in my throat as it was like starting to release. And I was brave enough to be the bad person that was willing to say the things that needed to be said. And it was a strong point. I was a very shy kid, and that was against everything that I had been taught about my nature. And I was really grateful for going through those experiences. And I can look at her today and have just massive gratitude for the role that she played in my life, because she taught me how to have a backbone. And then through those experiences, I had to learn how to soften into even more who I am. Am I this person that's going to force myself through the world, or am I a person that's going to now sit in the knowing of who I am and show up in that space of love for my husband, for my children, for the people around us? And do we get to do this differently? And so we got to learn how to do this differently. We got to learn how to communicate in a way that brought boundaries, but love. And it's not something that all people will do. And that self-responsibility is a huge part of that. And forgiveness. Wow.
That's right.
Forgiveness is a big one. Yeah. Just this year, going through another loss of a really important relationship for me. And I keep going, I want to get to this place of forgiveness. And then another layer comes up and you're like, oh, I still notice the hurt there. And that hurt keeps you from actually loving that person and loving yourself, I think, mostly. And so when you can start to even peel back those layers and bring that love to every piece of this, you can start to see those gifts unravel.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's so amazing. I just absolutely love that you could take something that some people could find so negative and just kind of live in that misery the rest of their lives because these horrible things happened when they were young, that you were able to have those insights to think, "Oh wow. So that wasn't negative. What she taught me, even though she was being strong-headed towards me and maybe it wasn't in the best way, she taught me something.
Yeah.
You can have a voice. You can speak up. You can stand your ground. It's okay. And not everybody's going to like it, but it's okay."
Yeah.
And then to process through that forgiveness. Because for me, the forgiveness thing up until that point was only for people who deserved it.
Yes.
And so when you can forgive people that don't deserve it,
Yeah.
and just let God handle the rest. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can only do so much.
Because it's for you.
Yes. He doesn't know I'm pissed off and angry and hurt still. He's going off on his merry little way, living his life, doing whatever he does. And I'm over here pissed off, angry, hurt. And then I have to forgive him. Like it took a while for me to figure out, like, I'm not forgiving him for him. I'm forgiving him for myself so that I can heal, so that I can be better, so that I can. And I love that you said that you were grateful, because that's something that I've just recently been thinking a lot about. Is we all have our own trials. We all have things that we go through that can be heavy and hard. But realizing that, like, we get to choose. I just lost my train of thought. I totally just lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
You're talking about so that you love the grateful.
Okay, yeah. I love the grateful part that you just spoke about, because that gratitude for the things that you go through, good or bad, we all can learn from those. So like I've been married to an abusive man and then divorced and then had to figure that out. And then shortly after that, I got pregnant with my daughter that I ended up placing for adoption because I was nowhere near ready to be a parent at the time. And I knew that was the best path for her. And those were hard things, but like everything that I've been through that has been like so hard has been so growing too. Like it's helped me to see the world in a different way. It helps me to empathize with other people. It helps me to try and understand where somebody is at when they're having a really hard time. Even if they speak to you in a certain way, it's like you can either react and be like, "No, you're a jerk," and be like that back, or you can go, "Wow, they must be going through something big if that's how they feel like they need to talk to people."
Yeah.
So it's like an awakening, right? You get to finally, like, I just feel grateful that I get to see it for, like, none of the things I've been through I regret.
Yes.
I don't regret it. Like, I wasn't the cause of all of it, but I don't regret it because the lessons I've learned and the person that I've become because of those.
Yes.
Like, I see that in you too. Like, your power and strength is so mature, and it's something that, like, some people never get to. Yeah. And to see that you could go through some things that could have just destroyed you the rest of your life if you let it.
Yeah.
Become the strength that propelled you into the amazing woman that you are today. Like, that's so beautiful, and I love that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Okay, so was there like one specific thing that happened? Like, I know you talked about having your kids. Like, when I heard you say like you fell back into a lot of those things that happened in your past, like it just brought it all forward when you were a parent. I have a thought about that, but I'm going to wait and let you share yours first. Was there like one specific thing that happened that helped you to look at those things that happened and use them to help you to heal instead of going back down into that deep, dark place?
I remember sitting on the couch when my youngest was just like a couple months old, and it was probably my lowest point that I had hit. I'd already had 2 other kids. My husband had just had an accident and at work and had a wall fall on him. So he he went to the ICU. He was told he wasn't going to walk again. I was taking care of him up on the bed, and I had 2 little kids and a brand new baby. And I remember just sitting there. I don't know what, like, it was like, I just need help. And I knew in that moment that support was the most important thing. I had called up a friend and I just shared, like, this is what I'm going through. And she had recommended this coaching program to me, which was more about just like taking care of yourself, getting your body back up and good and stuff. And I realized that even through the whole process, it wasn't about the program. It was about actually being willing to receive support. I had gone so far deep into the pain that it was like a fog, and I remember driving home from the hospital after my husband was there, and I pulled in and I had scratched the whole side of my Tahoe, and I literally just was like, I don't care.
That's the least of my worries
That's
right
the least
now.
of my worries. It just didn't even faze me. And it was like, okay, I need support and I need help. And I was willing to actually get that help. And it saved my life. It allowed me to have somebody to talk to help me to see the things that I couldn't see at that time. And I think that's so important for us as women, because sometimes we just want to push through and think we're okay.
Yeah.
And the truth is that I wasn't. And I see a lot of women who are hurting, and they just, that shame, that vulnerability, whatever is going on will keep them from actually asking for what they need, or even if they don't know what they need,
Yeah.
ask them from sharing. And so much of the time, if we just share what's actually on our heart and what we're experiencing, there's so many people that want to wrap us up in love, so many people that want to support us. And I didn't even know how I was going to do it at the time. I didn't know how I was going to pay for anything. I just trusted, and I knew that I had to invest in myself, and it completely changed the trajectory of everything.
And it paid off.
It paid off.
Big. I want to move towards Irene, because I know that you've been newly introduced to Irene. And when you first learned about Irene, what was the one thing that stood out to you?
I think one of the things that stood out to me was what it is actually doing for people that I don't think a lot of people realize. So I had told my daughter a while ago and my husband as well, one of the most powerful tools that I still stand by to this day is the power of unarguable communication. Gay and Katie Hendricks talk a lot about this, what it means to speak the unarguable truth, which basically filters out all the drama, all the non-truths, everything that could escalate a situation, and it brings it down to the real core of it. So there's a chance for connection, a chance for truth to be shared, and what's relevant. And I noticed that when being shared about Irene, it was incredible to me. I'm like, you're literally creating a way that the unarguable truth gets to be automatically filtered. And you don't have to sit there and teach somebody the constant skill of it. And I still think it's an important skill, but it actually does a lot of it for you. And for people, it's not commonplace. Most people aren't taught this.
Right.
It's something I spent 20 years mastering and learning how to communicate with my husband this way and other people. And so the fact that you are bringing it down to that simplicity, there's so much power.
Yeah. And it might be like giving you the answers, but I also feel like when you hear the answers enough, you start to teach yourself. Yeah. Okay, instead of saying, no, you're the one that XYZ, you get to say, okay, what can I do to de-escalate? And let's communicate about the facts right now, because maybe we just need to just stick to the kids, stick to the whatever that we need to talk about. And this is not just when you're divorced. That's the thing that I want people to know too. This Irene's not just for you if you're divorced and it's ugly. Irene is also there for you if you're in a relationship but you're just struggling to communicate.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people struggle to communicate. That's something that, like, I'm grateful that my husband was taught to communicate, because in my family, we communicated. It wasn't always pretty, and sometimes people got mad, but we always knew how each other felt.
Yeah.
And so for him, it was a little bit abrupt because I'm pretty direct, but it's not in a mean way. It's just he wasn't used to, like, the directness sometimes.
Yeah.
And so we all have our own experiences, but the thing that I love the most is that no matter where you come from, you can learn how to speak to somebody in a respectful way that's productive, where you're like, say you were in a bad relationship and you always that toxic communication, because for however many years, that's all it was, or that shut down and don't talk because I'll get in trouble if I say the wrong thing or whatever it is. So I love that you can reteach yourself how to speak to somebody in a way where I can be heard, but I'm not going to be hurtful in speaking.
And that's super important. Yeah, that's really cool.
That's big.
That's really big.
And maybe it's because I'm getting older and I've been married for 25 years and we've had our ups and downs like every relationship does. But I'm grateful for a man that's never given up on me, nor I him. And for his kind heart and his love for me, so that as I navigate the stuff that I had to work through, he was always there holding my hand and helping me through it. And it's so possible. Like, I think about my first marriage, and it's not even on the radar of my current marriage.
Yeah.
Like, it's so far away. There's things I still remember I'll never forget, but it's so far away because of the work that I've chosen to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to keep showing up and being a problem. It's something that happened that helped me become who I am today. So I am grateful for that. But I just think that it's so important for people to know wherever you are right now, that's not where you have to be forever. You get to choose
Yeah.
tomorrow
That's
or
powerful.
in an hour.
Yeah.
If you had something like Irene during the hardest moments, what might have changed for you?
I think that it would have helped me to receive my husband and his communication better, because what I was so proactively learning these types of skills and how to speak, it was really hard for others to get them to understand how to speak unarguably. So I would have to filter through blame and through projections and go, okay, what are they actually trying to say? And I would have to constantly teach how we can communicate in a way that's, like you said, not hurtful. So I think just having that, it takes away the hard. It makes it so it's so much more seamless and so much more easy. And I wish that every person downloads this, because it is going to change the game of communication.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the goal. Take you from that like arguing to
Yeah.
okay, let's just communicate. One thing I think that I've learned through 25 years of being with the same person is the way we hear each other is different
Yes.
than it used to be. Because I used to hear my
It takes away the filter.
yeah, but I used to hear all the negativity that was deep down inside for so many years. I used to hear that in his voice when he'd speak to me, when all he was doing was saying something simple.
Yep.
But I had my crap attached to his
Yes.
words.
Yeah. And you amplify it.
Yes. And so my filter was putting all this stuff on what he was saying when all he was saying was this. But I added to it. I guess I liked the drama of it or whatever. But the fact that like we've navigated that to a point where he could say something to me now that used to hurt me, not because he's hurtful, just because of where I was, the unhealed part of me. And now I can just go, oh, he's saying this. He just is saying it in his way.
Yes.
Because that's the other thing. The way I speak and the way he speaks are very different.
Yep.
And I don't want him to change who he is, and I don't want to change who I am. Like, I don't want to like conform to how he wants me to speak, because I don't think that's healthy either. But we've come to understand when he says this, this is what he means.
Yes.
And when I say this is what I mean.
Speaking different languages, and so it helps filter. It's almost like having a translator in
have
between.
a second language.
Yes. Or a bazillion languages with everybody in the world.
That's true, because your kids then speak their own languages too. Yeah. And so I think that being able to understand the true context of it and not with all of our added stuff. That's why I think that healing, like I haven't really been to much therapy, but I've been a very, what's the word? I've been very, very passionate about trying to figure out how I can heal. Because there's so many resources out there. You can't afford therapy. There's so much. There's good and there's bad, but there's so much out there to help you navigate to get to a place where you can like process and be like, oh, when so-and-so said this and this is how I felt, it was because of that.
Yep.
So I'm going to heal this and then let's go through that again. Oh, now it doesn't bother me anymore.
Yep.
It's amazing. It's almost
is.
like there's all these light bulbs and like they're just going on one at a time in your head.
Yep.
So now your head's lit up and you can just hear everything from your place, not from your place of hurt
Yes.
or unhealed trauma or whatever.
That's really powerful. I'm so grateful that you're bringing this type of gift to the world.
Thank you. We're like, that's our passion. Like the team that I work with, amazing woman, amazing. My husband is our creator, but just amazing. Like we're all on the same page. It's just so like, it's so humbling as we're navigating this to just feel, I feel, and I know everybody believes differently, but I feel that my creator is helping me to do this work because so many people need to heal.
Yep.
So many people. And I love people so much. I love to see my transition, and I want that for every single person who's been hurt, every single person who is confused, every single person who's in the fawn, because that's where you were, right? When you ran down the side of your car and totally scraped up your car, you were in a frozen state because of things that you were trying to figure out how to deal with at that time. And so when you can move past that and truly heal, like you just feel like a completely different person, and you just want everybody to feel that.
Yes. Yes.
And that's where we come from with this app, because my passion is for everyone to have peace and joy, because it's essential, and we deserve that. Every single man and woman on this earth deserves that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what message would you tell someone who feels stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure of what to believe?
I would say to tune into the sensations in your body and get out of stories. The minute that you can get out of stories, tune into the sensations, and just get curious, asking yourself, what does this remind me of? What is the bits and sensations in the body telling me? Our body never lies. Our body picks up on energy. We pick up on energy. You mentioned that when you walked in. Like, if we can develop that trust with ourselves to go, oh, it's this tingling here. Okay, what's that? Let me play with that. What is this reminding me of that may or may not be true, but as far as stories go, but it's telling me something that I need to be aware of. And it takes us out of the fight or flight. It takes us into the present moment so that we can actually move it or do something with it, accept it, love it, move forward, and it keeps us from going from stuck into flow.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. And then last, I just want people to know where they can find your book and your stuff. So how can they connect with you and how can they get your
Yeah,
book?
absolutely. So you can connect with me on social media through Facebook, Instagram, Caramie Ann. So it's CARAMIE_Ann, ANN. You also can go to Amazon for my book. My book is Unravel and Reveal, The Courage to Let Go and Discover Who You Are.
Thank you
So
so much. This has been amazing. Thank you for being with us today. I just want everybody to know that healing is possible. If you need Caramie's book, go buy her book. She's amazing. You've already heard that. And just know that wherever you are right now, you don't have to be stuck there forever. You can have healing and joy and peace in your life. God bless you. We love you.